Hi folks, Kellen here, doing some C++ programming. I asked Copilot if it could generate a beginner level problem exercise thing for me to learn algorithms and C++ alongside that. The problem that it gave was given a list of integers, report back the integers that had the highest frequency of occurring in the list. So I set about doing that. I knew I was going to have to use a map. Here's my function max frequencies, takes in a reference to a list. And that list is the raw data. I instantiate a map called M, probably not the best name for that variable, but whatever. I go through every number in the list, and if that number is in the map, we increment the frequency with which it occurs. If the number is not in the map, we just add the number as a key and 1 as the value. So once we have our map with our frequencies, what we want to do is find the maximum frequency that occurs. So then we iterate through the map using key value pairs. If value is greater than max frequency, then max frequency equals the value. So it's just going through each key value pair, and if the value of that key value pair is greater than the current max frequency, the max frequency is changed to that value. Here I instantiate a vector of integers called maxFreaks. What I'm trying to do here is account for the possibility that there are multiple numbers with the same frequency that occur with the same frequency. So for example, in my test list, 1, 1, 1, 1 occurs 4 times, and 60 also occurs 4 times. So I want to add 1 and 60 to this vector to indicate that, yep, there were 2 numbers with a maximum frequency of 4. Anyways, we iterate through the key value. We iterate through the map again. If the value at that, if the value is equal to max frequency, then add it to the vector. Once all that is done, the method returns a pair, the first element being the vector of max frequencies, and the second element being the number of frequencies, the maximum of all the frequencies with which the numbers occurred. So here's my little main method. Here's my test data. I call max frequencies, get the result. I get the vector of all the numbers that occurred with the same frequency, which was the maximum frequency. Iterate through and print those numbers, and then also report back how many times those numbers occurred with what frequency they occurred with. So let's so if we run this guy, we can see that 60 and 1 were the numbers that appeared the most frequently with a frequency of 4. Let's change this array up a bit. Let's add a 3 and recompile and rerun. Now we can see that 3 here was also appeared 4 times, which is a tie with 60 and 1. Just to be completely sure that it's doing the right thing, Let's add another 60. This time there should only be one number. Right, 60 appeared 5 times, and we can confirm that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so that's that exercise done. This took me probably about an hour and a half to complete. So yeah, that's all. Thanks and bye.